Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Camilla Carrara, Project Coordinator C.L.A.S.S. I'm really pleased to welcome you all today to the 7th session of the C.L.A.S.S Smart Voices 2022 program, Women in Power, Examples to Follow. Now, I'm extremely pleased to welcome our today's speakers, Giuseppe Bettoni, CEO and founder of C.L.A.S.S, Barbara Gnutti, Italian ambassador for the Women in Denim, founder of EFFE-BI PR Agency, Stefania Ricci, Director Museo Salvatore Ferragamo, Carmen Gama, Director Circular Design Eileen Fisher, Martina Rogato, Founder and Sustainability Expert ESG Boutique. Enjoy your vision.
Thank you, Camilla. Welcome to everybody from Giuseppe Bettoni. I'm the CEO of C.L.A.S.S. And I'm extremely pleased today and extremely excited, I have to say, to be here today with our guest because we are talking a lot, at C.L.A.S.S about sharing, inspiring. These are two words that we use quite often. And today is the time to say that we really believe in the power of women. And we know there are so many, inspiring examples, all over the world and in different fields. But we want to start to raise our small voice, but our voice about this important subject starting from today. And we have included for the first time in our agenda a special moment, this smart voice, trying to invite 4 inspiring women to share their unique paths. Today that's the major objective. We choose them because they are really game changers in their different fields, and they are into a new society culture because it's about culture. We are keeping repeating this. We go from the interesting family heritage and tech journey of the Italian woman in denim, Barbara Gnutti, to a real circular economy pioneer and innovator in the fashion panorama such as Carmen Gama, passing through the special art approach as museum director of Stefania Ricci, and closing, but last not least, with the example of a young entrepreneur fighting for human rights such as Martina Rogato. So let's move into the area. Barbara Gnutti, Woman in Denim, for Italy, ambassador for Italy, and founder of EFFE-BI PR Agency. So, Barbara, you lead the PR media agency, but your story started some time ago in Vicenza with your family, where you are born and grow up. That is Vicenza, correct? And
exactly.
And basically, you are born with fabric production of the denim industry. You start to work with your father. And then, you grow up, with all the family, and your first, I think, working experience was in New York. And
yes.
After moving back to Italy, you focus your career around sales, all over the world, because New York was not enough. And in 2020, you have been awarded ambassador of Women in Denim. And then in 2018, you have been founding your PR media agency. But let's start from the beginning, because, I should have stayed at least 20 minutes just to share what happened in your life, in your career. But it's clear that
I can take even longer.
Yeah, but it's longer, but you have done also many different things and all quite particular. What did it mean to you being part of a family that is a manufacturing company as a woman, first of all, Italian woman, we have to say, and I'm sure that it means already a lot of challenges and opportunities. And you have been awarded the Woman in Denim Ambassador. Can you take us through, both of these things and how did you get there? So family, and then ambassador, and in the middle, a life.
As you said, I was actually kind of predestinate because I'm born in the very far 1971, and my father's built a company in 1972. So I was exactly the time I'm born, I was already predestinate. My first memory, I'll always legate it to the indigo because my father used to bring home piece of fabrics where I used to cut it with obviously a lot of tape of my finger, because at the time the indigo was like 14 ounce with a lot of glue, with my grandma working together. And so indigo was really one of the first things I touched when I was a kid. I was in a kind of way lucky because I'm the younger of three. So I didn't have all the family pressure on me to get inside the company. So I had the great opportunity to study all over the world when I was young, traveling a lot. And then, as you mentioned before, I had my first experience in New York in a very popular brand that just pushed me inside the business. So when I came back, I learned a little bit of English. So I was predestinated, even in that case, to be part of the exports of the company and start traveling all over. I mean, I was traveling in Asia, I was traveling in Africa, I was traveling in United States. So it was an amazing time, I have to be honest. It was like seeing a lot of country, and I did it for 30 years. I was the export manager of the company, 30 years. That bring me a lot of networking and have the chance to meet a lot of people that helped me a lot to take the decision in 2018 when we sold our company. And so I stopped myself, I said, okay, what I'm going to do right now? I was not like 20 years old, I have to take decisions. And in the last 10 years, I was very focused in the company to follow the PR and the marketing. So I said, you know what? That's what I love to do. So I found my company, EFFE-BI PR, that is a PR media agency, in 2018. And that allowed me actually to even met even more people and to increase my skills, because I was very strong in denims, but that was the part that I know it about the production chain. Now I work with companies such as Tonello, that is maybe I think the leaders in the world of production of machinery for the finishing of the denims. And Rudo Group, that is a chemicals company that is like an unbelievable company, focused on sustainables. And
but
tell me, Giuseppe.
No, but what how you had to, 30 years ago, it was not the world that we know today, and I think export manager around the world for a manufacturing company. I don't remember, I was there, the 30 years ago, so I remember that it was not quite an unusual thing. So how it was for you? How was,
as
situation?
mostly of the, as mostly of the women, I was lucky because I was part of the families. So it's not easy in our country to get to some high positions because they're really good. I mean, mostly of the CEOs in the company are, I believe, like 90% are from the families. So in one part I was, kind of lucky on that, but it was not easy, especially in some countries as a woman, to meet all men and try. I was alone, always alone, me and my bags with my samples. So, but it's good. It even help you to, get the relation with the other people. So even the hardest moments allow you to grow in somehow to get a relation with people. But it was not easy. But somehow, as you said before, as a part of the family, it was. He helped me a lot on this in this journey of this 30-year journey. But I'm the younger of three. My father is the owner, so my brother Paolo was the production developer. So I always been circused by very strong men in my life. So even internally in the company,
skills that help you, and because we are here to talk about inspiration, so we want also to tell people what is needed, for a woman, the young woman, but also, woman that want to restart, as you just said to us, it happens so frequently, so what are the suggestions? Because at a certain point, you have been also nominated ambassador of Women in Denim and are all women, the ambassador of this association. So it will be good maybe to, to know that. So 2 questions in one.
Oh, right now we're even making the presentation about the Women in Denim, these incredible no-profit associations that Lucy Dermer, that is our president, built in 2019, where the focus is actually to create the networking between all women around the world that is part, obviously, of the denims world, to get in touch and to help each other.
Is mainly male word, right?
Yeah, as you can see from the number, yeah, obviously. I mean, this is it actually in our world, but is in, as you can see from this number, it doesn't actually just achieve the denims world. It's kind of everywhere. If you see just some numbers, 94% of the chefs are men's.
Yeah.
In the higher restaurant, or as you can see, 24% of the women are in average paid less than men's. And there is, I mean, there is so many numbers around the world about that, but we all live in the same world, so we know it, and doesn't make any change about if it's fashions or if the theaters that has been just 9% are managed by women, or in the pilots of the airplane. I mean, this is in somehow a man.
These are numbers that unfortunately we know. So let's go maybe to the core of woman in denim, meaning. Well, another very self-explaining.
Going back, I don't think we need any kind of explanation about that one. And actually, this is regard to the one in Italy, but the one. The last one is not actually really different. Maybe the only woman that it was chairman of the Italian council, it was an Italian woman.
Yeah.
So that maybe it was the only different from these pictures, but from the years and years, that has always been like that. Yeah. No, not at all.
Yeah.
So as I told you before, this is a no-profit association between the woman that is part of the denim industry. And the focus is to support each other, to connect each other, and to try to help each other in the business. We have people from all over the world. I think we are almost 1,100 women that is part of the associations. And so we try to really connect all to the others. And there's no difference between the levels of the persons. I mean, there's from the manufacturers to the CEO of the company. So there's everybody, it's allowed to get in and to be part of. Or if we want
see
to
here the three pillars, connecting, supporting and empowering. I think these are key skills, I think.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And there's so many people that is contact us to need help or to need to find another job, to move from a company to others. And that's what Lucy create and is doing right now. We can, I believe, go to the next one. These are some event. Everything was starting in Munich. That there's the Munich February that is one of the bigger support of the associations. And then we always try to get like 2 or 3 times a year to meet all together. Obviously, with 1,000 people be part of, it's not so easy to be all. And the last one was in Munich last September. This is part of what I told you before, that the meaning is really, guys, to create the networking, and more than networking is the connecting between us and try to support and to help everybody to in the way that we could, even looking for a new job, or we need, like, let's talk about business. If I need to connect some company, we'll try to do our best to be strong. The main focus is, if we all stay together, we'll be stronger. If a lot of scream together will be super louder. Yeah. This is what we do, what actually Lucy's do. Obviously, I'm doing the Italian part, so I try to create the event in Italy. The last one was done here in Milan, and try to create more collaboration, more connection, and more helping the other women in the world that we could. As you see here, is more about the garments workers in the denim industry. This is, let's say, the
subject.
Yeah, that's actually the bigger scales. This is the amazing Lucy. Yeah, she's the founders, and I need these 2 girls are incredible. I have to be honest. They always try to do whatever they can, and by still making your life based on your business. That's what we do. That's what women do. They try always to balance from, life skills and business skills. That's what we do. We always live with these guilty feelings from all our life. That's what unfortunately, how we live. But as a woman, we are very good we are the solver makers, right? Problem resolvers, always. That's how we do it.
And this is really a strong networking in the world.
Yes, as you can see here, the ambassador, we have people from United States, Portugal, Germany, Tunisia, Pakistan. Obviously, there is a country like Pakistan, Bangladesh, where we try more and more to get connections. But we have Netherlands, UK, Indonesia. I mean, there's people all over the world. We can go to the next one where you see like a little, everybody that is following the talk right now, definitely just contact me or Lucy directly. And if you want to be part, send us a message. Definitely you will be joining the Women in Denim.
And last 2 minutes, with you, can you tell us, personally and professionally, some suggestion for people that, for a woman, that want to do a career, want to do something, in a certain way in the world that we're in, which are the suggestions that you will give?
I can always talk about myself. I mean, I had a privilege to be very focused on the business, but from every single step of my business. But I was very curious. I want to learn. What I always said to the young people around me is to never give nothing as, you can say that in English, for sure. I mean, we have to study to really prepare ourselves, give 1000% of what we do. And as a woman, I have to be honest, no matter what we do, there's always someone that will let us feel a kind of guilty for the decisions that we take, or to shame on us a little bit for the decisions that we are doing. Like just thinking about the woman between, carrying the family and the workings, that is always like the main focus where there's the big difference. And there's any change to change this point of view? No, not at all. So the only thing that we don't care, do whatever we love to do, and just follow our dreams and just do whatever feel us good. And don't let anybody make you feel different about what you feel about yourself. That's really the only thing I always did by myself.
So stay curious and stay strong.
I just say, stay hungry, stay foolish. Someone say that one day. So
that's someone even more important. Thank you very much, Barbara.
No, thank you, Josie. And thank you, Camilla, and everybody. Yeah.
And stay with us. Let's go to Carmen. Carmen Gama from New York. Welcome, Carmen. I know it's a busy time, and we take you literally from your today, work. She's a New York-based designer, born and raised in Mexico. She attended Parsons School, and she's graduated as a finalist for the Designer of the Year. She's really involved in, she's been also nominated by CFDA, for the Eileen Fisher as Social Innovator Fellowship, correct, Carmen? And she has been working since 5 years now, at this amazing pioneer project initiative, that has become really quite strong about circular economy inside Eileen Fisher, but, starting from an eco-designer point of view. Carmen, from a woman perspective, because we know you are a guru, even if you are so young, you're a guru because you really pioneered, and, we would like to hear from you about what is the recycling plant in Irvington, near New York. Can you hear?
Oh, yeah, it's just there was like someone unmuted, so I could barely hear you. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry,
I was
Jesse.
just saying, I would like to hear the story of, the recycling plant of Eileen Fisher in Irvington that you have been following from the beginning, just finished this, Parsons School graduation, basically, together with others. But I would like to hear the story from a woman perspective in New York, talking about the manufacturing in New York, 1 hour from New York, basically. And also, as I said to Barbara, to hear your feeling, to hear your experience, but also something to inspire people that is joining, women that are coming, young entrepreneur, but also people that want to change their life, because it's always more and more happening this. So please.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, everybody, for being here and for having me. I'm very honored always to share the stage with Juicy and my other colleagues.
Thank you.
Well, from a woman perspective, I cannot, if I bring it back a little bit in history, I cannot take all full credit for what I've done without really mentioning my mother, right? Because she was like a very strong figure for me. I grew up in Mexico, like you used to say. I was born and raised there. I came to New York when I finished high school with a dream of becoming the best fashion designer in the world.
Of course.
That dream has changed since then. But, my mom really taught me that if I had a dream, if I had a passion, you just have to go for it. And she showed that with an example, right? She's a very strong woman. She always tried to give us as much as she can, best education. And then she knew very quickly that I wanted to be a designer. So she really pushed me very hard just to work. But the caveat for me was that if you're a woman and you want to work, you can do everything, right? That's how also kind of I was raised. So from the very beginning, I just decided that my career was going to be the most important thing. So I was just going to be like work. So yeah, I came to New York. And also before I continue, something that when I was raised, I was never told really that yes, you can do both things, but also there was not obstacles for me just because I was a woman. So when I came to United States, a lot of that actually perspective changed. I started learning a lot about how women were not paid fairly, how women were taking all of the responsibilities of the home, so all of these things were very new to me. So I just decided just to power through and kind of take that noise out, right? And just really stay focused on my goal, which was to become a great designer. But when I went to Parsons, I did my BFA in fashion. That's when everything switched for me. That's when I realized about the huge amount of waste this industry generates, right, to the world. So me as a woman that I chose my career to be my priority, I'm like, well, if this is going to be my priority as a woman, at least I have to do something meaningful to this world. And that was going to be for me to help divert as much textile waste as I can from landfill. And how I was going to do that is to use my design skills to create systems, right, that address this waste. So when I graduated from Parsons, I was one of the 3 winners that Eileen Fisher and the CFDA, which is the Council of Fashion Designers of America, came together to bring 3 recently graduate students to figure out a solution for all of the damage inventory that Eileen Fisher gets back from her Take Back program. So I was one of the 3 winners. And since then, I've been working, actually, it's been 7 years because I graduated in 2015. And my work hasn't really changed so much. It's just really create systems and connections and, to implement how to address this damage inventory that comes back through a Take Back program. And it's not only staying here at Eileen Fisher, the work that we've been doing internally has inspired so many other companies, institutions, schools. We mentor everyone that we can because Eileen is a very, also an amazing, powerful woman who's a great mentor. She really knows that she can't change this industry on her own. So she really gives us the tools and the power and empower us to really go out there and share as much as we can so we can collectively create a systemic change. So that's kind of like in a nutshell how my, how I was raised and how I'm like applying all of that right now. I can share some of the slides of the work that we do. Jussi, is that okay? Or
it's fine. Just highlight, the fact that, I know that for you it's normal. Sorry, I was in New York last week and I went to visit, the recycling plant she's mentioning. That's why I'm really on that. And she showed me something with a natural, like that's normal, but she's creating a new industrial system for recycling that is not yet, from, post-consumer, from used garments, that at the moment we see in pictures, we see in masterpieces, painter, but you are doing it and you are successful. And she was saying, and it's true, that we have also Italian companies going there to see how they work. So we are talking to a woman and to a young woman that is really writing part of the history of, the solution to the waste in an open source. So I just want to put this in perspective. So please share some of your pictures, but also highlight the challenges and also the opportunities of what you have found. So that's, for me, it's really important to make people hear, because the way you are telling, it's so simple. It's not so simple.
It's actually not that simple, and it hasn't been easy. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of learning, trial and error. And yes, actually, Manteco, who is like an Italian
just to name one,
company, yes, they came here to our facility, and I'm like, how can we turn our wool into new fiber and like all of that. But yes, it's not easy. It's been a challenge. There's been a lot of sacrifices, but I'm a person that I really love. I was trained and raised to ignore the noise, and when you want something, you just have to go at it, because the best way to protest, the best way of, in my case, form of activism is actual action, right? Yeah. So you will not find me maybe in the streets protesting or anything like that. You will find me here at the office trying to make real change. So that's something that I encourage anyone, like when you want something, you go and get it, right? That's
exactly the message that Barbara just gave us 2 minutes ago. And great. We have still 2 minutes, and if you can share a little bit the picture, and I saw that someone is already asking, can I come to visit? So I'm sure.
Yes. So we actually do give tours to companies, like we don't give private tours to individuals, but like if you are part of a company, institution, and school, government, like we're happy. So Camille can provide my email, and then I'll pass you to the person. But like, since we started the Take Back program, Eileen Fisher, and actually, let me go here. Since we started the Take Back program, we've collected over 2 million garments, and this actually number is not updated because that changed this month. It's Eileen Fisher's Renew Take Back program. We collect anything of the garments that our customers no longer want, and we give them a $5 coupon. So what do we do with them is the ones that they're in perfect condition, we resell them. And the ones that they're damaged, we do a couple things. We either repair as much as we can, because that's the best thing that you can do to a garment. We sometimes do over dye, just to lift the garment again and like continue to be used. We do our resewn collections, which is these are garments that have been just taken apart, deconstructing, and sewn back together. And we do that locally. So for example, that's on the left, you see the pants, and on the right, you see like already deconstructed garments ready to be sewn. We have a factory where everything gets sewn here. And these are some of the examples of garments that we have designed, and they're made entirely from old Eileen Fisher damaged garments. These are some other examples. And then we have our Waste No More program, where those are like mending, over dye, and resewn. So those are 3 solutions, but we also have another solution, which is when we turn our garments into new felted materials to make wall works that we sell as like pieces of art for architecture, interior design. We did a 700 square foot panel of, these are just made from garments. Though that blue 700 square feet just garments felted together in a lobby in Miami. And then we do also product. So we do bags, we do home goods. We have done a collaboration with West Elm. This is all made from denim. And this is our process. That's our felting machine. That's Ashley, our amazing felting and artist that creates these fabrics. And again, everything is made from garments. And we all wear many hats. I can be sometimes helping sewing, and I can be sometimes packaging, or I can be in a meeting trying to figure out how to you make the whole system better. And these are some of our products. But something that I just quickly want to mention is that we also do fiber recycling, right? Where we stretch to a fiber level and we make a new yarn and we put it back into the mainline. That's why here Manteco and other people from around the world come and see who can be our partners. And last but not least, we do downcycling, which is so sad, but these are pieces that, as if we have any designers right now, it's very important to design things correctly, because when you blend a lot of things or put a lot of trims, there's no solutions for them. So we have to downcycle these garments.
So behind the scene of everything that you see, think that the system has been put in place 7 years ago, started and is still continuing. And there is a team of how many people?
We're around 20, but I do have to say the Take Back program started way before me, right? The Take Back program started in 2009. I jumped in 2015 to try to deal with the damage inventory. Yes.
And that's where you are arrived to. So thank you so much, Carmen. I think it's so inspiring. We have heard, Barbara talking about the denim, heritage. We talk about apparel, and now we go to art. That is another amazing, argument, subject with someone like Stefania Ricci, that is the director of Salvatore Ferragamo Museum in Florence. Welcome, Stefania. So happy to have you with us. I know it's another busy period. I know that deciding a date is always difficult, but thanks to be here. We couldn't do this session without you because, apart from the background that is looking to the most amazing, I think, exhibition in Florence, but also you take all over the world, Victoria and Albert Museum, just to name some. Subject to Kai Foundation in Tokyo, Museo Palacio de Belle Artes in Mexico City, just to follow Carmen Mexico heritage. Culture is your kingdom, I think, Stefania, We have seen the culture of textile and garment, but what's the woman role in art? And even deeper, the museum sector, because, we know that there are woman director, but we hear a lot of men talking about it generally, when there are some interviews. What does it mean to be a director? Because you started some time ago, it's your career is not just now where it seems that everything is possible. It's not like that, but, I have a lot of high respect for people that started, some years ago. And also your team, as far as I remember, it's a lot of females and very good one. Your team, we know a little bit your team. So can you take us through this word before going into one of the latest, best, exhibition that you are taking care?
Thank you for the invitation, Giusy. And I try to explain that I am an historian of art and I studied in Florence. That in Florence there is a very good university, of course, for art, because Florence is very important in Italy for the culture, for Renaissance, and so on. And they were half women, half men in the university. There were not only women. And it's the same inside the museum, because the career of the museum, we are at the same level, even if probably there are more women, because probably, especially in Italy, in our education, in our culture, the family want that you can study about a humanistic field, probably because especially when I started, there was more possibility to combine family, private life with public life, respect if you're a lawyer or if you work in business and so on. I don't think that is true, because I worked a lot in my life, many hours. And so I cannot say that there is a difference. In the art, in studying the art, they are in the last 30 years, probably, after 70s, that the women are inside the world in the international point of view. They are inside the world of art, and especially in Italy, because before, if you think about the 50s or 40s or 30s, the women were that wanted to be artists. They tried to work with craftsmanship more than art. They used the textile, embroidery, and collage to work in the world of art, because there was not a big respect of their artworks. Now, I don't think there is the difference. And I think that many steps were made in this sense for women inside the culture, inside art world. And I have a lot of women. I have also one man inside my man, only men. And I have a lot of women, probably because I tried to find the people that made studies in art or in archive study, because we have also a Ferragamo Foundation that is responsible to save the archive, to organize the Ferragamo archive. Is a very big archive. In our museum, we organize always a different exhibition, and we tried always to start from a subject of our tradition to investigate all different aspects that are interesting for contemporary life. And in Ferragamo, there are a lot of women that work, and a lot of women that have relevant position also in the family, because the family, the children of Salvatore Ferragamo, they were 3 men and 3 women, and all the women worked inside the company. And a big example was given by Wanda Ferragamo, that she was the wife of Salvatore Ferragamo, and when she was the mother, and she was responsible of the education of the children, she was a wife. And when Ferragamo died in 1960, she decided not to close the company, but to transform her life and to be a businesswoman. And she tried to continue the story of the company. She worked a lot, and she tried to find a balance between private life and public life. That is the sense. And so we decided this year to have an exhibition dedicated to her. Many women that wanted to speak by themselves. Is inside the education of the women, and she was always behind the husband. She was behind the father. In the interview, she told that she was not responsible of the success of the company, and is not true. She was a very strong woman, and she had the dream to continue the dream of her so loved husband. And we dedicated the exhibition that we have now in Florence in the Ferragamo Museum to other women, to the women in a special period of Italy that is between 55 to 65. The economic boom is called in Italy. And I wanted to show to the public how the women were responsible of the improvement of our country and the definition of our country in that period, in the different of course field, inside the family, in the work, in the world of work, in cinema, in the advertising, and also of course in fashion. And if you want to show the small trailer of our exhibition, and I invite all of you to be to see this exhibition.
Absolutely, it's very pertinent to what we are talking about. Very, very pleased. Looks great. You know, we need really to visit.
Very quickly, but only for in the fashion world, 70% in the 50s, the owner of the different company related to fashion were women. And they were not simple, very small company, because I give only an example, or Fontana Sister or Gigliola Curiel, they have more than 250 women that worked with them. So it's a very important period for the empowerment of the women. And of course, they is not a direct way, no? Because the right way, because sometimes they were on, sometimes they came back. But it's interesting that they are the basement of for the future. And we made also a short movie with some interview to young women from 18 to 35 to try to give some question about the same question that we have inside and subject that we have inside the exhibition about the how is the family today, the relationship in the gender, and also if they have some problem to find a balance between the education, for example, the children, or to have time for the work. So it's very important, and it was a very interesting.
Absolutely, and I think highlighting another word, you know, that we think it's important for this conversation, that is balance. When we talk about, you know, women, we have to think about balance because it's a natural.
And we found that is a common I think between also this group of women, because we consider it group of women, for example, the first police woman in Italy, the position of the hostess, they are the new job in the 50s. And we consider it also important women that have a name. And we found that all, they have a big sense of responsibility, and also the model of guide for the company that is the example of Banda Ferragamo, but also other women in the same period, was the care. The care of the company, the care of the people that work inside the company is the same care that is a culture of the care for the family, for the children, for the all the aspects of the house. And the same model they tried to translate in a model of a guide for their job. It's very interesting.
Absolutely key point. Thank you so much, Stefania. Really always interesting. I will stay here chatting really with a double coffee. And I will come to Florence soon, and we need to meet for sure. Thank you so much. And let's go to Martina Rogato. Welcome, Martina. She's founder and sustainability expert about ESG Boutique. Martina graduated in international relations at Lewis University in Rome and in green management and CSR at Bocconi University in Milan. She started her career as a CSR sustainability advisor in different consulting companies, and in 2022, so really brave, you know, she co-founded ESG Boutique, consultancy firm focused on sustainability and diversity. She currently works as a contract professor at LUMSA and Temple University, and 24-hour, 24 Ore is, you know, an editorial company in Italy, business school teaching on sustainability and diversity. Co-founder of and honorary president of Young Women Network. I need to say these things because it tells a lot about Martina. She's part of the Italian delegation of Women 20, the G20. Under the Italian G20 presidency, she will fill a position of W20 Sherpa spokesperson, and she's the co-chair climate justice of the Women 7, the official engagement group of DG7 on gender equality. She also delivered 2 tech talks. Martina, amazing. You know, I have just first to make a lot of compliments to, and I appreciate you being here today, despite, you know, the kind of dedicated date for you. You know, you have such a lot of, you know, commitments and also expertise. How is, you know, from your side, because you are really an ambassador and a fighter for human rights, you know, how is the current socio-political condition of women, and starting from Italy, but looking around us?
Thank you for this invitation and for revealing that I have a double life, one as entrepreneur and a second life, secret life as activist. Well, I'm joking. Well, currently I have just bad news for all of you, for all of us. Starting from past Sunday, we are working for free.
What?
You think you are working and you are paid, and your female employees, they think they are working and they are paid. But considering the fact that in Italy we have the 20% of gender pay gap, so Italian women are paid 20% left in comparison with their male counterparts, same job positions. It's like we are starting from today, last Sunday to be more precise, until the New Year's Eve, we are working for free. And this is our bad news that also Italian economists are stressing in Italian newspapers in this week. because in Italy, we are living not in an equal society. What is happened from a G7 and G20 perspective is that Italian women usually are the one working and at the same time taking care of their families and or children. So living in this sort of patriarchal society where women as Wonder Woman, they do everything, is very challenging for Italy empower women in terms of job opportunities. We need the World Economic Forum more than 100 years to reach gender equality, and at a global level, Italy is not for sure in the top countries in terms of gender equality, nor in the top European countries. Just let me share that we are the third last place in terms of occupation.
We cannot hear you. Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Now you are back.
Yes.
Okay. Just sharing that unfortunately Italy is not performing very well, despite the fact we have a female premier, the only one at G7, if we do not consider, well, President von der Leyen. Despite our, let's say, political leadership, today we are facing lots of challenges in terms of gender equality. We are not performing very well in terms of economic occupation of women. I was just sharing that young women at European level are filling the third last place in terms of job opportunity. So too much work to do in terms of occupation of women, especially the youngest one.
Well, thanks for sharing, first of all, because it's important to know things in order to, make something concerning it. And can you share with us which are the projects that are ongoing at the moment, to leverage, or let's say, I'm not talking about solving because this is a culture, and so we're not solving if we do not change the culture. So which are the projects or what is going on to leverage these, or improve this situation?
Thanks, Giusy. Gender equality is a matter of cultural change, for sure. This is why in Italy, there are lots of associations developing mentoring programs for supporting young women in order to succeed. For example, the municipality of Milan just launched a program addressed to young under 20 girls in order to be mentored by a senior professional to find a job, better discover their careers, and so on. And for example, also the association I co-founded 10 years ago, Young Women Network, will launch on next January their new mentoring program to support more than 300 young women to find a mentor, men or women, to support in their career path. And another project we are launching, this is at the G20 level, the Italian delegation of the Women 20, that is the official engagement group of the G20 working on gender equality, have launched an observatory in order to discover how G20 countries are performing. Our job is to provide recommendation to governments and leaders in order to improve altogether on gender equality. And this observatory will also monitor how our recommendations are going. In particular, for example, apart from occupational women, we are very focused on gender medicine. I don't know if you know that COVID vaccines were more tested on men rather than on women's biology. And for example, we are investigating the current challenges of gender medicine, encouraging governments on please consider also this gender perspective. So for example, next Tuesday, we have an event in order to promote this topic of women's health.
This is, very, very important. And we will be happy as C.L.A.S.S to be an amplifier of this voice. If you have events, if you have projects, we will be more than happy to share, these kind of activities, if it could be helpful for you. And last but not least, we need a suggestion also from you, to inspire women, to give some, little hints to say, hey, start at least to do this, what are your suggestions?
Well, we are, as women, half of the world population, and so we are not a minority. We need to take our stage in order to achieve our dreams, and this is very important. I think it's fundamental to encourage, especially young women, to be brave, to study very hard, to reinforce their competencies, but then to be brave. And why not invest in a sustainability or diversity career? European Commission is saying that we will have something like 60 million of new jobs until 2050. So let's invest in sustainability education to become a new green, blue, or a rainbow activist or professional.
Absolutely. We are more than, agreeing to this, because our first, let's say, objective as C.L.A.S.S is really to activate, all the supply chain, the industry, but, sharing is the most important thing, and ethics is the base, because we cannot talk about fiber, we cannot talk about many things if we do not consider the people behind it, and impact on people, impact on environment, impact on animal, impact on oceans are all really important, mandatory things. I think it's the fundamental. So invest in education, invest in sustainability in the real way, and for sure, I think we need women. It's very clear. But women, as our guest has said today, that are working hard, that are curious, that does not care about judgment, but that goes right to the dream, and also with a balance, by the way, because I think the balance does not mean to resign, but to find the things that you want to do in the way you want to give them. So we keep thinking that class activate, people activate, but in a way that make everybody making their own choice and not tell them what they have to choose. But for sure, I think today we have given some inspiration. I really thank you, all of you, so much, Carmen, Stefania, Barbara, and Martina, because, it's just 1 hour and we cannot do everything. But we will keep in touch, because we need, it's a journey, of the things, and we cannot think about, getting to the objective, because both in sustainability and both, the woman part is about a new culture, and new culture is not done in 1 day. I still remember with a huge esteem, Stefania, the Sustainable Thinking exhibition, because it has exactly the right objective where, during this exhibition, Stefania has put together sustainability, but from a different perspective. So the culture of design, the culture of materials, the culture of the art from the same perspective, but with different expressions. And that's what we're looking for the richness. So thanks again. Thanks to all the people that has been with us today, and keep in touch. Grazie mille.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Giusy and Camilla and everybody. Super nice to meet you all.